So I'm really quite excited because I think most of you know by now that Luxor light is a frequency, and it came through in 2004 through my body. I'm not going to go into that in a long way at the moment. That'll kind of come up, I guess, along the way. But I do want to brief over some things because the teachings are really important. And so we're 20 years old come 3rd of March this year. And a lot has happened in that 20-year journey. And I'm constantly bringing through new frequencies. So those new frequencies that come through are actually like layers of the flame. So now that brings me to the important bit that I want to mention now. In this 20-year journey, a lot has happened and a lot has changed, and a lot of growth for myself, and a lot of growth for the frequency, the purpose, the mission of Luxor Light. So of course we can't keep it in one little box that's going to stay the same forever, because that's just not how it works. But this time, we already have the frequencies. And so for me, I had to go through my ascension first, obviously, before I could receive the ascension flame to continue the purpose that I was incarnate for, and to gather all those that are also have this similar purpose. So the Ascension Flame resides here in Luxor, Egypt, and it has done ever since the fall of Atlantis. So it originated in Atlantis with Osiris, who is also the same as Serapis, because Serapis, the name Serapis, is the ancient Egyptian Osiris and the ancient Egyptian god Apis, the bull, and combined, which became Serapis. So it is the same, one and the same, Osiris, but it originated in Atlantis, or according to my understanding at least. Atlantis was the old kingdom of Egypt. And then as the old kingdom fell, or Atlantis fell, we came into the new kingdom. So it's new time scales that we are moving through all of the time, and bringing through all of the specific energies and frequencies that come through with that. So the flame has existed for since, if you can say there's a beginning of time, or beginning of a time cycle, we would probably say Atlantis. And so it's existed since then, and it was brought here by Serapis at the beginning of that time cycle. And I'm not an Egyptologist, and so I don't have all of that wisdom, or knowledge, I should say, because I am more of an energy-based person. So I work with the energies and understanding the energy, which means it's an experiential thing. And that's what it's going to be for you guys as well. It's going to be an experiential thing. It gets us out of the head and into the heart. So we're working with sacred geometry, but as an experience. So we're experiencing it rather than having to know the information. And I want to tell you that Luxor Light is at the lowest level, it is a 10th dimensional frequency at its lowest level. And what I mean by that is, below the 10th dimension, if you have taken on the frequency and you're holding that frequency, it weakens below the 10th dimension. So you need to get to the 10th dimension to have full grasp of it. So it's not a frequency, if you do another modality, such as Reiki, for instance, they give you the frequency or the energy, and supposedly you have it for life. Luxor Light is not like that. So the initiation is not given from me to you. I am the original guardian and the channel, and you need contact with me, but it happens on the subconscious level between you and the greater beings, guardians of the flame. So you have to put in the work to hold that frequency and allow it to continue upwards. As you go below the 10th dimension, it weakens. By the time, if your consciousness drops down to the 5th or 4th dimension, by the time you get to the 4th dimension, it's gone. If you're in the 3rd dimension, it would definitely be gone. And you can fall. That's the journey, of life. We can fall in consciousness. But the important thing is that if we do fall, that we don't fall for too long. If you fall and you know you've fallen, you're feeling like crap, it feels heavy, it feels really horrible down there, you get to it ASAP and work on it. Because what happens if you leave it too long, and I've seen this happen with people, if you leave it too long, you start to fall into the trap of forgetting what it was like to be in the higher frequencies, which is exactly the same as when we incarnate, we've forgotten our previous lifetimes. And it's kind of like that, because we're living lifetimes within lifetimes now. So as we raise in consciousness, we are kind of moving through future lifetimes. Wanting you to understand that this is an ascension flame. It's housed, in the etheric above Luxor temple. I have learned a lot through my own experience along the way. And what I did not know back in 2004 when it came through is that Luxor light and the twin flame journey are basically one and the same. That twin flames are flame carriers. I always knew that the people that came in to do Luxor light were flame carriers, but I didn't kind of put the 2 and 2 together, that twin flames are flame carriers. And so twin flames have the ability to hold a higher frequency than those who are not twin flames. You don't have to have a twin flame incarnate, and you don't have to have met your twin flame to be on your twin flame purpose. So for instance, I didn't. In 2004, I didn't know who my twin flame was. But I brought through my twin flame purpose and my mission by the frequency. So what it means is that you make full union with your twin flame, and then you have the ability to bring through the third energy. And the third energy is the third flame, which is the mission, the purpose that you are in flames to do. In general, twin flames are all a part of the same mission, and that mission is to awaken humanity. So it means that you have the ability to rise in consciousness, to have a higher level of consciousness than the average Joe Blow. And that means that your flame touches everybody, touches whoever comes into your experience. And so they have the opportunity to awaken, even if you're not working as a spiritual teacher or a healer, or it doesn't matter. Your energy is touching other people and awakening them. What I have noticed, it happens for myself, and I feel for a lot of people it's the same, that the frequency travels through our voice. So it travels through my voice, and I think it travels through other people's voices. And so, of course, if you are, when you are speaking to somebody else or sharing, you are sharing the frequency simply by talking. Once you have become a clear channel, which means that you are walking, talking, 100% of the time from your higher self. And that doesn't mean that you're going into the zone and channeling any specific energies. No, because to be a clear channel, you should be channeling your higher self all of the time. So every time you open your mouth, you are channeling or bringing through the frequencies of your higher self, which is in the collective consciousness of the one and the all. Twin flames actually merge at the 10th dimension, fully merge. And when they fully merge, they begin to activate their missions. So their energies start to work towards activating the missions. And in the 5th dimension, as we are working on 5th dimensional consciousness, what we are doing is developing our masculine and feminine chakras. And then by the time you have become fully sixth dimensional consciousness in all chakras, you have fully developed your masculine and feminine aspects of self. The journey from there, from sixth dimension, where the gateway to the infinity then opens for you as an individual, and you're able to go to the infinite, receive information, wisdom, etc., and bring it back with you. From there, from the sixth dimension traveling up to the 10th dimension, you are working on finding harmony within yourself, within your chakras. And so as you are finding harmony, you're also coming into union with yourself. By the time you get to 10th dimension, you have full union within yourself. So you have been through the ascension by that stage. You have, because the ascension is takes place around the sixth dimension. Sixth dimension, seventh dimension, you are going through the resurrection. So this is a really vast topic, so we can only brief over it, but I just want to plant seeds so that you will start to have aha moments. Every aha moment you will have a spark in consciousness. You will start to rise again. So you are finding inner harmony and inner union, which takes place in the 10th dimension. And then as you move into the 11th dimension, you have union with your twin flame. Your twin flame is you're pulling them up wherever their consciousness is. By the time you hit the 10th dimension, you start to pull them up to meet you. They can't deny it any longer. They come up and meet you at that level. And like I said, you don't have to know them. This is all happening in the spiritual. So by the time you step into the 11th dimension, the two of you are then entering the infinity gateway. So that means that as twin flames, you are both ascending together. From the 11th dimension onwards, you are always ascending together. So twin flames are flame carriers. So now I want to, like I say, I didn't know what direction this was going to take. I didn't even really know that it would take the twin flame direction again. The last program I did in 2021 was the first one that I did that brought in the concept of the twin flame. Prior to that, we were working purely with the individual's ascension. And that's really important as well. I want to point that out, that twin flame or no twin flame, this is an individual journey. So the ascension is an individual journey, and people get lost in the concept of romance with twin flames. And that's something that I really am passionate about, that people don't get lost in the concept of romance when it comes to twin flames, because it's not about that. It's not saying that there can't be a romance, but it's not about that. Romance and relationship can get in the way of spiritual evolution. So we have to step aside from the dynamics of relationship in that sense and place our focus purely on our personal ascension and our missions. So anybody who is already above the 10th dimension, you guys are, or 10th or above, you guys should already be just setting intentions. You don't really have to do much more than that, but setting the intention that you are ready to step into your purpose or your mission, whatever that may be. And try not to allow yourself to put any preconceived ideas about what that is supposed to look like, because it could be pretty crazy. Hey, I never thought that I would be speaking in weird languages and making crazy sounds to the world. I would have, thought people would lock me up, and I actually tried to stop it, but in the end I couldn't stop it because it was so forceful in me that I had to allow it to come through. And I was also told, that the world was not ready for me when it happened to me. So I had to kind of go into the background for a little while. And that's what's so exciting about now, is because since 2020, when COVID happened, a lot of people woke up to their spirituality, and now the world is ready. Now the world is ready. So 2023 was always going to be, and I've known this since the very early days. Just a quick recap here. In 1987, there was an event took place called the harmonic convergence. And the harmonic convergence was when the masters, centered masters, had realized, if you like, that humanity was not evolving fast enough. They were not coming up. They were not stepping up. So they stepped in, and they kind of wiped a lot of karmic situations for humanity. And whereas in the past, older generations, we would have to, we would be born and live through a specific lifetime, and that lifetime was an initiation. At the end of that life, hopefully you passed your initiation, and your next life, you would step into another initiation and then die, and same thing, you know, and it would continue. But from the 1987, that was all wiped, and humanity were then given the dispensation to be allowed to live through all of our remaining lifetimes in one lifetime, which meant that we would be going through many, 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 many initiations. And life is the initiation. So if you look at your own life, and especially in cycles of 7 years or 9 years, you will see that in certain years, something significant happened. And maybe 7 years after that, or 9 years after that, something significant happened again. So you'll see that you've been moving through all of these initiations, and 7 tends to be the cycle of an initiation. So from 1987, all of this started. The next significant time frame was the year 2000, and you'll remember that back in the year 2000, there was the big hoo-ha about, oh, you know, we're going to go into a period of darkness, everything's going to shut down, you know, all this weird stuff was being said. And of course it didn't happen. The next time they said it was all going to happen was 2012. And of course it didn't happen. And then they say, and then it was 2020. Well, it kind of started in 2020. So 2020 was significant, but 2023 and 2032 were also, or 23 is past, but 2032 is coming up, also very significant in the journey of stepping into the new earth. And what the new earth means is basically that we're rising in consciousness. So we will still exist. Those that step into the new earth pretty much are the people that have already ascended. You're already there. How much you keep your foot in the other door, in the other world, depends on you, depends on whether you get dragged into the, you know, negative things that are going on in the world, or if you are able to keep yourself out of that and keep holding the light of the new earth for those that haven't yet made that transition. And so it's just basically, you know, all existences still exist together, but we are rising in consciousness. And eventually you don't see the worlds that are of a much denser consciousness than we are, because you just can't see them. So, and some people will notice that you're not even really seeing certain things, and people try to drag you into the drama of what's going on the planet, but you can't be dragged into it because you can't actually see it, because it's not your reality. Your energy doesn't resonate with that, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So that takes as long as it takes for each individual, and you are there when you are there.